The following announcement has been paid for by For the Love of Wrestling, the podcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the time that you've all been waiting for. We are literally a week away from the most epic of times. Yes, For the Love of Wrestling is coming to Manchester at the BEC Arena on the 29th and 30th of April, and we want you to be a part of it with us. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. No matter where you are in our fine world, welcome to For the Love of Wrestling, the podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Tom Finkill, along with Aaron Robertson and James Harvey. Good evening, boys. How's your day been? All happy?
It's all right. It's mega busy. We've got guests sort of starting to think about coming over here now, and they're all suddenly started panicking about passports and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's we're in the eye of the storm right now. I'm looking forward to next week when they're all here having the Weetabix.
Who's got the best rider? Who's got the most unique thing that they want to have a picture of Bob Holness in the locker room?
I can't go into those sort of details. You know, that's contracted exclusivity.
We love it. We love it. Well, we are all a big happy family when it comes to For the Love of Wrestling, and we are literally all waiting with open arms, ready to greet you guys. We want to make sure that you know who's going to be there with us. As you can see from our backdrop, there is a veritable smorgasbord of legends, current superstars, and just those beautiful little nonchalant guests that you think, oh, I'd never seen them at a con before. Yes, we have got them For the Love of Wrestling. Let's talk about some of the big headline acts that we've got, and I'm going to float them up on screen as you guys can have a little chat about them. But one of the major ones as we go into our first day is obviously going to be the man, the myth, the legend. Indeed, we might just call him the man. There he is. It's Bill Goldberg himself. Now, this is going to be one that sells out on autos and pictures because he is only there for the Saturday, right, boys?
Yeah, he is only there the Saturday, and he's selling like a mother, as you can quite imagine. He's doing really well, and obviously he's got his solo picture and autos that he's going to be doing, and obviously then he's also part of the WCW champion shot as well. So yeah, Bill, I can't wait to meet Bill. I'm really interested to see what he's like in the flesh, and he's still in amazing shape, and it's always good for me. I think one of the best things is, and there's nothing wrong. People age, Christ almighty, I don't look like I did 5 minutes ago, never mind 10 years ago. But Bill Goldberg, he still looks in absolutely incredible shape. So when people get to meet Bill Goldberg and have a picture with Bill Goldberg, it's going to look like Bill Goldberg, which is always nice.
Yes, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Did either of you go to any of the WCW shows when WCW was a big branded company?
I don't know if it was before my time kind of thing, but I never ever saw them come around my neck of the woods. But Aberdeen kind of didn't have as much as anywhere else. So when I was younger, I didn't really get a chance to travel around anywhere. And I would have loved to, because I really loved WCW because it was free before I had Sky Sports. WCW was my thing because it came on after Cartoon Network. So I would have loved to see him Goldberg back in the day. I'm a massive Goldberg fan. I think he gets a hard time for no real reason.
It's a bit of a, because the guy's an arse, it's a bit of, or was an arse. It's a bit of a bad comparison, but he's similar to the Ultimate Warrior in a lot of ways. He sort of turned up within 6 months to 12 months. He was one of the biggest names on the planet, achieved a hell of a lot within a very short space of time, and then sort of went his own little way for a little bit. Now, Bill, obviously, even when he came to WWE, he remained at the top, and obviously did a lot more for a lot longer than Ultimate Warrior did. But, I think a lot of people don't like Goldberg because perhaps, they prefer, they blame Goldberg because Dean Malenko wasn't a 10-time world champion or something like that. Bill Goldberg, he's entertainment at the end of the day, and Bill Goldberg has it, or what we like to think of as it in absolute spades. So yeah, whereas Dean Malenko's quite good at suplexes.
He does have it, but there are 4 other guys who definitely have it And as we're touching upon, and as you just mentioned, Jay, that we have got a literal once-in-a-lifetime photo opportunity. And I was messaging you guys today saying this is the big debate right now as to whether or not I'm going to drop the dollar. But it looks like I'm going to have to, because you are never going to get that lineup in one particular place to get a picture with you ever again. Take a look at that. All former WCW heavyweight champions. We've got Bill Goldberg. We've got the Big Show Paul White. We've got Kevin Nash. Booker T. And yes, bada bang, Diamond Dallas Page. So just from your perspective and being wrestling fans, out of those five, who are you most looking forward to hearing the backstories from?
I mean, the two that I've not met yet are Goldberg and can't call him Big Show Paul White. So they're probably the two that I'm really, really looking forward to meeting. But yeah. I mean, just sort of listening to them talk Diamond Dallas's Page's Q&A is the one that I just think just could be absolutely epic. Depends what you're going for. I just think that Dallas, he's just very cool and someone that I could listen to him talk all the time. If you're looking for perhaps a little bit of dirt, you might get that from Kevin Nash. Some really cool road stories. You might get it from Big Show. And Booker always says, what's on his mind. Booker never hides from the truth. Remember, at the very, very first Love of Wrestling, someone asked a question about Hulk Hogan to Booker T. And Booker T just went on like a big diatribe all around the fact that, he didn't think Hulk Hogan was a racist. And there were certain points in his career where he felt that Hulk Hogan could have very easily got him fired. And he never did. And so he had his own opinion on the Hulk Hogan drama that was very, very much kicking off at the time. And he sort of went on that. So Booker pulls no punches, he tells it is. I think all five of these guys will be good. For different reasons. And I don't want to take total credit for this particular world first, by the way, but yeah, this was completely my idea. I will. And it's totally a selfish point. I was just like, wouldn't that make an amazing photo? I would really love that photo. Let's do that photo. And again, this is, as you can imagine, selling very well. It is literally a world first. This has never happened before. These five taking pictures at a convention before together. So yeah, we're absolutely made up with it.
I'll need to go back and watch that Booker T panel, because he's obviously going to speak highly of Hulk Hogan after what he nearly called him back in the day. We take what we want. Sorry. Anyway, what a photo.
Chuckling away to myself, loving life right now.
This is an amazing thing. I actually can't believe that this hasn't sold out in it, because that's a 4.5 and you'll never get it again.
No, it's an absolute banger. And speaking of bangers, we're going to hear from the man himself. Take a little look.
Yo, it's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing, the master of the diamond cutter, was 3-time world champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and founder and CEO of DDP Yoga. And I'm coming to the UK for the love of wrestling. That's right, Europe's biggest wrestling convention at the BEC Arena in Manchester. It's going to be on April 29th and 30th. And it's kind of going to be like a WCW wrestling convention, because it's not just me going to be there. Kevin Nash, that's right, Big Sexy will be there. The Big Show, back when he was in WCW, he was the Giant. Of course, we got my main man, Booker T's going to be there as well. And the man, Goldberg. All of my buddies are going to be in Manchester, April 29th and 30th. So come on by and see us. Get some autographs, get some pictures. If you want to get tickets, go to Facebook /FTLO Wrestling UK. That's for the love of wrestling UK. I want to see you there. I'll be there with my girl Paige, and we are going to come to UK with a bang.
Well, if that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what will. How good was that?
I bombed the 3-disc Blu-ray to that promo. Honestly, that is generally the best promo I've ever seen come through the door at Monopoly events. That's better than anything we've done on this podcast. Let's just be honest about that.
Well, we've just upped the ante there. By including it, we've made ourselves just better people. I love it. And to be honest with you, I've not even told you this. He's the one that I'm looking forward to meeting the most. DDP, for me, is the one that we're looking, and not from his wrestling side. So I'm an avid avid supporter of the DDPY program. We are an avid user of the DDPY program. We lost just shy of 3 stone doing the DDPY program over lockdown.
Oh, really?
So I'm very, very happy that you guys have got him booked. I am so ecstatic to meet him, just to shake his hand and say how much he has affected my life. My children do the kids DDPY workouts, and it's been epic. It got me up and motivated through lockdown. So yes, DDP, we're coming with a bang.
That's someone I've always wanted to meet. I've just always liked his energy, his work ethic, all that stuff. I mean, he started when he was 36, and I'm a year away from 36, so there's always time to get
always time, yeah, brother.
No, he's just seems like a genuinely nice guy, and yeah, I'm buzzing for meeting him. Just forget wrestling, just the human being that he is, to be honest.
Yeah, I was very luckily got to meet him in Dallas, of all places, last year, down at the WrestleCon, and I just wanted to have a chat with him, really, just from again, away from wrestling. I just wanted to have a chat with him and just thank him for what he did for Scott Hall and for Jake the Snake. Jake particularly has been someone, sort of, for me, Jake could be probably top 3 of all time. So yeah, and I just wanted to thank him for that. And it wasn't long after Scott passed, unfortunately. So yeah, and he did not disappoint. He was all the time in the world to have a chat with you. We're nicest guys, very genuine. I mean, he's just going to be. I can already tell that, you know, every year I can tell who's going to connect with the fans the best, just because I have a little bit of a communication with them before these events happen, and I can already tell that DDP is going to go down an absolute storm this year. I can't wait for him to come over.
Yeah, it's going to be unreal. I cannot wait to meet Diamond Dallas Page. Full on gimmick infringement. I'm going to literally be rocking up with a cigar in mouth, big combed over mullet, the biggest shades and the longest trench coats. It's going to be awesome. Cannot wait to meet DDP. So as we slide from the Saturday, we're going to head on into the Sunday with another exclusive one-day appearance by the man, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. For those of you that joined us in Manchester for Nigel McGuinness's wonderful celebration Magic Tour, it was Nigel McGuinness against Bryan Danielson that night. I know you spoke to one of our stage hosts, Chris Brooker, on the live show, James. Who emceed the night, and it was incredible. So thank you so much, Chris, for an awesome night. But yeah, I want to find out truly how deep this feud runs between Bryan and Nigel. He's going to be flying off the shelves. We've only got limited autographs and limited pictures available with Bryan. Where are we up to on that, James, sales wise?
Yeah, the Bryan one is pretty much sold out now. I think when I looked this morning, there was like 3 left or something like that. So yeah, so the pictures, there's pictures, there's still a couple left, but I fully expect him to sell out ahead of the event. As little as by this weekend, he may sell out. And as I say, autographs, there was 3 left this morning when I looked, so no doubt they'll probably sell out before the end of the day. Initially, when we put Bryan Danielson on sale, it was going to be a case of, because he's only with us for a very small amount of time, and just because that's the only way we could get him this year. It's a case of, do we take Daniel Bryanson for one day for a select amount of hours? You know, you never know what happens. You've always got to think of, not to go sort of morbid or anything, but you do always have to think, you know, always jump on this. I'd rather have someone for 6 hours than never not get them, because you never know what life's going to bring. So yeah, we snapped the hand off when we said we'd like to get Daniel over. We also know that a lot of people were let down by another play convention that would remain nameless last year, when it didn't work out and Daniel didn't come over. So again, we also wanted to jump on that as well to deliver Daniel Bryan. So Daniel's really, really looking forward to coming over. Initially, it was going to be a case of either photos or send-ins, but we've managed to pray to the wrestling gods, and we've managed to just about work out a way, I think, whereby it will be photos. You can do the normal table meets, although they are very limited. The first tranche we got up sold out within about 45 minutes. Then we put a few more up. Again, they sold out very, very quickly. And now then, I think we put a last 30 up or something like that in the third one. And when they're gone, they're gone. There will still be the option of send-ins. But if you do want to meet Bryan Danielson, but imagine by the time this goes out anyway, it'll be completely sold out. So that's where we're up to with him, and he's really, really looking forward to it. His team are brilliant, and we can't wait.
Do you think by the time the convention comes round, you'll be able to spell his name right?
I didn't say anything because I knew it was coming.
Oh,
No.
you've used the old graphic. This is the old one before I corrected it.
Oh, is that right?
Well, to be fair, James, you called him Daniel Bryanson. Brian Danielson.
Brian Danielson, Daniel Bryanson.
It's very confusing because they did literally just switch it around, and it really put me off when I first saw him coming to WWE. But yes, Brian Danielson with a Y.
Yeah. So so he's going to be awesome. And again, he's been with me managing a lot of the social media. I see a lot of this stuff, and he's been one of the most requested guests ever. He's sort of
Lovely person.
Last year we delivered Trish Stratus, who she has to have been one of the most requested guests ever as well. But Brian Danielson is one of the most requested guests ever, so we are absolutely thrilled that we're able to bring him, and he's looking forward to it as well. And again, I've heard, I've never met him myself personally, but I've heard he's really, really nice, down to earth guy, and I've heard that he's great at these type of events when he does them. And it's very, very rare you'll see him doing it in the UK. I don't know if he's ever done one over here in the UK outside of perhaps WWE sort of meet type things. I've never attended one, and I've never heard of one myself, and say he was due to attend another one, but that fell through. Whereas, obviously with Monopoly now in charge, we're going to deliver him, which is great.
Yeah, he's definitely got time for fans. You see a lot of it on the internet. He's got time for fans. I've actually met him, but it was by total accident that I met him. I was coming back from work in Portsmouth, and I missed the Aberdeen show, and they were literally walking through the airport. So I'd barely ever seen a celebrity in my life at this point. And I came off the plane, and they're going towards their gate. And I don't freak out. And I just was like, oh my God, that's AJ Styles just walking down here. And I went up and shook his hand. I was like, I'm really sorry. I know you're in a rush, but my goodness. And then he was walking up the stairs. I'm like, oh my God. So that's the first. And then I went into the toilet, and Jeff Hardy was complaining about the smell of pee. So yeah. There's
proof to the point that men can have multiple orgasms in one go. Beautiful.
He was so nice to everyone, because you could obviously, it's a bit mad.
It's probably time to ask people, please don't follow our guests into the toilet. That's just weird.
I didn't follow Jeff Hardy in the toilet. Okay, I'd been on a flight.
Just follow Aaron into the toilet. We'll be happy days. Well, I'm so excited to hear that Brian is excited to be with us. We'll be chanting yes, but another guy who is certainly chomping at the bit, ready to throw a finger high and bring it in close, is this guy.
What's up, everyone? It's Adam Cole, baby. And April 29th through the 30th, for the love of wrestling in Manchester, I'm going to be there. So please make sure you come up and say hello, and don't ever forget, it's all about the boom.
It's all about the boom, baby. Yes, it is. Well, we talk about AEW characters. We go from Paul White to Brian Danielson. And this is another big one for me. He is the leader of the Undisputed Era, Mr. Adam Cole.
Yeah, Adam's a great one, because he ticks multiple boxes. For all of the indie darlings out there, he's a massive tick in the box. For people who are WWE fans, he's been one of the hottest guys at WWE over the last few years. I think everybody was almost waiting for that big step up to the main roster, which never particularly happened. But as far as NXT goes, you could argue that Adam Cole is the biggest name in NXT history. He's certain to be the most popular over the last couple of years he was there, and then he's moved over to AEW now, so he ticks lots and lots of boxes, and that's what the organisers of this type of event want, because it means fans from all the different promotions and people who just spend all day arguing over who's the best and all that sort of stuff. Adam Cole is an internet darling, so yeah, thrilled to have him over.
I always make the comparison between Adam Cole and Shawn Michaels, so 1994-esque Shawn Michaels. And I can see a lot of similarities. I can definitely see that the NXT influence has been brought into him. And I think he's literally head and shoulders above a lot of people that are on the AEW roster right now. These are two of the hardest hitting professional wrestlers in the game. They are modern day heroes and AEW tag team champions. Have we heard whether or not they're going to be carrying the gold with them yet, Jay?
We haven't actually. Funnily enough, I was thinking about that from Jamie Hayter today, whether Jamie Hayter is going to be bringing over her gold. One thing I do know is that they are coming here from AEW. So they're doing AEW on the Wednesday, and then they're due to fly out on the Thursday, and then coming into the UK at a certain time. in a certain place. But yeah, so they it's not that I don't believe they're going home before. So I am hoping that all of the AEW guys bring all of their respective belts with them. I'm certainly thinking that'll make some great photos.
Yeah, definitely unique photos, and I'm sure Aaron's got a couple of belts lying around. Sorry, titles lying around. Let's take a little peek. Are we going all classic, Aaron? This is for our video fans, by the way. For all you wonderful audio listeners, there's nothing like visual radio.
I would never, ever be that guy that carries around a belt that I haven't earned or won or, So, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. FTR are amazing, by the way. I genuinely think these guys are phenomenal as, love their whole shtick, love their in-ring work. I mean, I hate saying in-ring work because at the end of the day, like that's a Meltzer thing to say, and I've never wrestled a day in my life. So, but I think they're great at what they do. Love their gimmick. Love everything about them. Yeah,
they're a bit of a throwback team. I think again, they tick lots of good boxes. They're ex-WWE, so the sort of casual fans will know them. They're internet darlings, and they've won belts similar to, not quite on the level of Dudley Boys, but they've won belts everywhere they go. They've got a smash mouth style, which people like. Bit of a throwback style as well. Always remind me of the Brainbusters. But so yeah, they tick lots of boxes, and they've sold. Their pictures have sold. God, their picture is one of the top selling pictures actually at this event. People are really, really excited.
People love them. Yeah.
STR was one of the ones that we were not debating whether they were a good idea, but thinking about, well, we've already got quite a few AW guys. Should we bring them over this year? Really, really glad that we did, because they've sold very well. And there's lots of people who when you see the list of who's meeting and everybody's looking forward to meeting. FTR seems to be on pretty much every list. So yeah, that's a good signing for this event, I think.
They're like a 90s revival, right?
Yeah,
revival.
And sliding out of that terrible segue.
That's what she said. Like a fucking lead balloon. All right, let's go.
As we're talking about retro throwbacks, there is no better retro tag team than these legends.
This is Axe and Smash of Demolition, and we're going to be, for the love of wrestling, in Manchester, England, BEC Arena, Europe's largest wrestling convention.
And that's going to be on the 29th and 30th of April. Get your autograph and picture tickets from the official website. What do you think, Axe?
Check it out.
Boom. These are the guys that I am seriously hyped to go and see and go and get a picture with. Jay, you want to do the ring entrance for these guys, right?
Do you know, I've thought, yeah, these guys are going to be amazing. Again, I got to meet these guys in Dallas last year, and they are so much fun. They're both.
Sorry, you didn't go to Dallas last year, mate, did you?
I did have to go to Dallas last year. Have I mentioned that? Smash particularly, Barry, Mr. Hole-in-One Darso, bless him. He's one hell of a repo man, but he's an absolute, he's a monster of a guy. He's sort of, I don't know, it's just because of when they were about, sort of everybody was big. I mean, they were all sharing the ring with people like Jim Neidhart, the Warlord, British Bulldog, people like that. But yeah, like, Smash Barry Darso is a big guy. He's deceiving. I don't know. That was one of the things that shocked me. But no, they were a lot of fun. I'm hoping they are similar to when I was lucky enough to meet them. That they bring the face paint, they bring the masks, and all that sort of stuff. Because they were brilliant with fans. Sorry, when I met them. So I'm sure that they'll be exactly the same. Because they are one of the greatest, most recognizable tag teams of all time. They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the longest reigning WWF tag team champions of all time. During which always seems to get forgotten a lot, the best period of tag team wrestling in wrestling history. So yeah, I mean, these guys are very, very much legends in the wrestling world, and I'm really hoping that people spend the time to go and meet them.
Aaron, we're sliding in with Demolition comments.
I don't know much about that era of wrestling. I know who they are, but I've never really followed it, to be honest.
I feel so old.
James is going to hate me for it. Yeah, I've no idea, in all honesty.
Hey, I dropped in there about going to see Nigel McGuinness this past week, and he stated, and I know Jay will like this, that his favourite match ever, the one that he remembers watching over and over as a kid, was Demolition against the Heart Foundation at SummerSlam 1990.
It's the greatest tag team match of all time, without doubt. So 3 falls, introduction of Legion at Awesome. It's also one of the best examples of tag team storytelling that you will ever see as well. It was absolutely epic. It's better than any Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. It's absolutely phenomenal.
I've got that saved to watch after Tom had mentioned it. So my plan is to watch some of these older tag team matches before the convention next week, because you both speak very highly of it.
I know we've got a podcast planned at some point to talk through, or maybe do a watch along for our favourite pay-per-views. But just watch the whole of SummerSlam 90. It's an absolute joy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. Go for it, mate. Go out of your way.
Well, I'd watched a lot of older wrestling when I was younger, but not. I think I didn't go as far back as that. Because when I got into
Jesus
it, was
Christ, Aaron, you're making it sound like it was like 14 BC here. It's only 1990. Calm down.
I was two in SummerSlam 90. So
that's your problem, Aaron. That's your problem.
Oh dear. I watched back, but I only went back to about 94. So I never went really before it. I'd obviously seen some classic matches, and I have seen classic matches in the vault when I used to watch that on Sky Sports. But I've never.
Yeah.
They are literally going to knock it out of the park. And speaking of first time ever, I think this is the first time in the UK that we are going to bring you guys this picture opportunity. It's Demolition and the Powers of Pain. We got 4 of the biggest icons of the golden era, the WWF golden era, that are going to be there ready to take pictures with you guys in the middle. That is one not to be missed.
Definitely. I mean, like, a lot of people could argue, the Barbarian. The Barbarian, just on his own, has got some hell of a stories. I mean, he's part of the Heenan family, for Christ's sake. And, Warlord, he did his gimmick. I really hope. I'm going to make sure I give Val a nudge, actually, and Chris Brooker about this. They need to talk to Warlord about that epic feud with the British Bulldog, because for me was just absolutely top draw. But there wasn't a hell of a lot wrong with wrestling at that time. Sure, you go back now and some of it's aged terribly, but it was brilliant. But no, there's 2 firsts here, really. So this is the first time the Powers of Pain have ever appeared together at a convention in the UK. Interestingly enough, they did actually both come over to a UK convention at around 1994, 95 in Manchester, funnily enough. But then one of them. There was some sort of problem at the airport with a work visa, and one of them wasn't actually allowed to appear. So even though they were both here and in the building, they didn't actually do that. So it's only taken 28 years to make it happen. But yeah, so this is the first ever time the Powers of Pain will be appearing together in the UK. And then on top of that, this again is a first. As I'm sure you can imagine, Demolition versus Powers of Pain, WrestleMania revisit match. Yeah, brilliant teams, all really nice guys as well. So really looking forward to this one. These guys are all going to be fun. I know these guys are going to be fun.
Warlord is. I watched a match. I think it was Warlord and Tugboat from like 1990, and Warlord was stacked.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He was huge. Did he not do the? Did he not do the challenge before Chris Masters did?
Yeah. Challenge.
The full Nelson challenge. Yeah, was that the same thing? Because I think
the Bulldog was synonymous for breaking it.
Oh, that's what it is. I saw because Davey Boy's huge, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's massive. Because I obviously met Tugboat last year again, so I watched that around that time. Amazing. So I definitely.
The Warlord can cut a banger of a promo.
This here's the Warlord, one half of the legendary tag team, the Powers of Pain, and along with the Barbarian on April 29th and 30th at the BC Arena in Manchester, England, for the love of wrestling. Your biggest wrestling convention. We'll be signing autographs. So get your tickets and photos at their official website. But wait, maybe, just maybe, we'll don the face painted gear and step back into the ring one last time. Maybe.
How good is that promo? Man, he's
Really?
people like
Not Mr. Beat, has he? He's not Mr. Beat at all.
Can we not talk about how good he looks for being in his 60s?
Ah, no, mate.
What?
He's going to be fun. He's going to be fun. He's one of the guests that we deal with direct. He doesn't have an agent or anything else. Well, I'm sure I should be saying that, but never mind. So I deal with him. I deal with him direct, and he does everything. He's old school, so he doesn't really. He isn't really someone who particularly deals with emails. He'd rather just talk over the phone or text. and he's very, very excited to be coming over. He can't wait. So yeah, the Warlord's going to be great, and the Barbarian as well. They're good mates. You know, Axe and Smash, they're all good mates as well. And I think we've covered this on a podcast before. When you not just about bringing the guests over, but you bring the guests over and they're getting to spend time with their boys. They have a hell of a time, and it does turn into a little bit of a, not quite a stag do, but I mean it's a bit of a boys' weekend. As we saw last year with like the Nasty Boys and Tugboat and those types of people. As we saw the first year with, you know, the NWO and Hall and Nash and Bischoff and people like that. You get these guys together. Some of these guys don't get to see each other as much as they would like, maybe only 2 or 3 times a year. Some of these guys won't have seen each other for 5 years, just the way the calendars work. So when they get together, they have fun. And I'm sure that getting to spend the weekend together, we're gonna sort of see them unwind a little bit.
I can't wait to hear the stories. Well, as we flash from the late 80s into the 90s, we're going to fast forward a decade for you, Aaron. Do you know who these guys are? Have a look.
I was only 7.
No, who are they? Who are they? Oh, he looks like the guy that used to wear glasses and camouflage. Is that same guy?
That is.
We're reeling them in. Yeah, we're in. One of them wore a beautiful dog collar at one time.
I can't call them Team 3D, man. I love the Dudley Boys. Absolute top class. Probably one of my favorite tag teams from that era. The first seeing that spot with was it Mae Young? Was it Mae Young or was it Moolah?
Yeah.
No, it was Mae. Getting the powerbomb through the table off the stage. Yeah. Hilarious and terrifying all at the same time. I'm looking forward to him. I've heard him talk about it before, but I'm looking forward to him talking about it again because I think she called him a bitch, and I really want to hear it firsthand.
I mean, people will have their favourite show, their favourite flow of wrestlings, and, you know, for right and everybody's, there's no wrong opinion about what your favourite flow of wrestling is, but this one particularly, just for the reunions, and this just seems like almost like it sort of happened by accident, although, you know, fair play to the booking team, they're amazing at what they do, but they're just the tag teams that they've managed to get at this particular one. I mean, you're talking, you know, Powers of Pain, you're talking the Killer and the Pillar, you're talking Money Inc., you know, you're going to be talking Demolition, you're talking FTR, you're talking Team 3D, and just those last 3 names there, you've almost got one of the greatest tag teams, greatest tag teams of the golden generation, the peak of tag team wrestling. You've got FTR, who are regarded as literally the greatest tag team working in wrestling today, and you've got the Dudley Boys, who arguably are the greatest tag team in wrestling, period. I mean, it's absolute tag team royalty that are flying into Manchester next week.
We are stacked, and it's going to be epic. Speaking of Mae Young going through a table, another one of our guests made an epic mistake when they crossed the Dudley Boys and found themselves up on Bubba's shoulders on that top rope. She's going to tell us all about it.
Hi, everybody. It's Terri Runnels from sunny Florida. A chicken may crow, a rooster may crow at any minute, but you know what? I can't help it. And I wanted the sun on me because it makes me look younger. Hell, I can't even see, so I'm going to have to do the rest of the little hoo-hype. Oh, there goes a motorcycle. So, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do a one-take Charlie, and that's it. Here's the deal. I'm going to be in Manchester, England. It's been ages since I've been there. I will see you the 29th and 30th at Boulder's Exhibition Center. I'm about to go kill somebody on a motorcycle. It's okay. I might kill a chicken. It's all right. We're hungry. We'll eat them for dinner. Sorry, PETA. Anyway, I can't wait to see you guys. It's been a long time. So be there or be square. Ciao.
Genuinely one of the sweetest people in professional wrestling. She's a legend, whether or not you know her from the York Foundation in WCW, as the cigar-toting Marlena in the WWF, or sliding all the way through. Terri Runnels is a legend. And I know you've got a soft spot in your heart for a Jay Harvey.
I just think she's adorable. I just think she's absolutely adorable. And again, she's someone who we work with directly. So she'd prefer to do WhatsApp and just give you a bell if she needs anything. So I've got to know Terri a little bit, and yeah, she's outstanding. She seems like such a lovely lady. So again, I'm sure she's going to be ones that people sort of. I hope everybody takes the time to, even if it's just to go over and say hello to her. Make sure you take the time to do that, because she's the sort of person that just exudes warmth at ridiculous levels.
Yeah, I think that video is adorable, and really looking forward to meeting her. And you speak very highly of her, James, so can't wait.
It'll be interesting to hear the stories that she had, because in that Attitude Era, it was a case of anything goes. And the story has been kicked around that Dustin really wanted to get breast implants to take his character to that next level. And it's a question that we want to be posing to her. Was that something that was genuinely on the table?
I'd be interested because I hear differently where he felt, remember, obviously he became a bit bitter afterwards, saying that he had to be forced into a character he wasn't really comfortable with. So it'd be interesting if he actually wanted to take it that far, because from what I know of, or I was possibly wrong, but he didn't want to be that character to begin with. So that's quite a good question.
Yeah, it was over like Rover though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was massively, and then Terry was a big part of that. And then obviously she went on to do lots of other things in WWE, doing the backstage interviews and PMT as well. She was part of, wasn't she, as well?
Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure she's got some great stories. I think she was part of an episode of Dark Side of the Ring as well last year, wasn't she?
she was, yeah.
As well. So yeah, just interesting to find out how she got involved in that as well. So yeah, I'm sure Terry's got loads of great stories to talk about, and she's just become a grandma as well. So if you do nothing else, just go up and wish her congratulations to her and to Dustin as well.
Yes, definitely go up, have a nice little chat with her about all things, whether or not it was WCW or WWE. She will want to have a nice little chat with you. And as we're speaking about ambiguous characters, we go from Goldust to a former Miss WWE Diva, Miss WrestleMania. Will he be Santina or Santino?
Hi guys, it's me Santino Marella. April 29, April 30, BEC Arena, Manchester. It's going to be Europe's, biggest wrestling convention ever, called For the Love of Wrestling. I'm going to be there. You can get your tickets on the official website. Don't be a son of my guy.
We're going to be striking some cobras, and for any of you that are going to be really looking forward to the Q&A panels, I know I am. This is one. If Santino is in the ring, literally giving you everything that he's got, all eyes need to be focused on that man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be great fun. He seems to come across as a very nice guy. Again, someone that we deal with directly. He's an absolute unit, by the way. He works very much in MMA now. He's got his own MMA and cage fighting gym. That's where actually I found him. And randomly found out about it, and then left a strange message on the answer machine of an MMA gym. Going, hello, my name's James. I'm calling from England. Please talk to me. And eventually, someone rang me back to talk to me. But yeah, he comes across as a very nice guy, very professional. So and again, it'd be great because he's very much perhaps in that Ron Killing space where primarily a lot of his career was spent in the light entertainment type gimmicks, when actually, backstage is an absolute unit. So be interested to see how he approached that. Is he still happy with the way it is? I mean, he's still remembered very fondly by the fans. People still love him. It was always very well thought of, and he was a huge hit with the fans. So yeah, again, his Q&A is going to be something really, really special, I think.
Yeah.
I saw him briefly, maybe I can't remember how long ago it was. I didn't know he didn't talk like that. he came to one of the Aberdeen shows. I think he was actually, Grado was doing like a Q&A just randomly in one of the hotels in Aberdeen. I went to that, and he just came into the building afterwards and sat on the ringside and chatted away. Yeah, seems like a nice guy though.
But even from a comedy wrestler, and it's harsh for us to say that because he, as James just said, he is such a unit, such an absolute legend. Do you guys remember the year Alberto Del Rio won the Royal Rumble? And he was hid under the ring for the vast majority of it. And he came back out, and there's a visual image of him sort of welling up before he hits the Cobra to Alberto. And the fans genuinely believed that could be the point that Santino was going to win the Rumble. He was going to go to WrestleMania. Yeah. And again, even on the basis that he didn't win it, he went into the Elimination Chamber and did the exact same thing with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I watched that not long ago. Actually, it came up. I'm pretty sure WWE UK posted it not that long ago. Yeah, I've always liked him. Plus, I mean, he won the IC title in his first match. You know what I mean? So can't be doing much wrong.
We are bringing the champions to Manchester. And speaking of IC champions, another one that I'm looking forward to chewing the fat with. He's so cool. He's Carlito, Caribbean cool.
Yeah, Carlito, really nice. Again, a gimmick that seemed to just hit the ground running. Fans took to him very, very, very quickly. He's very, he's still working today. He's still active. He's still in great shape. So yeah, someone that I'm really glad we booked, because the response to his announcement was we thought it was going to be quite good, but yeah, he's really good, and he's selling very well as well.
Have you got any memories of Carlito, Aaron? Talk about spitting some apples for me.
Yeah, so I funnily enough, I'd stopped watching during that period, but then I think he was one of the first ones I saw when I tuned back into it. I liked his character. I'm trying to think of memories off the top of my head. I can't think of anything. All I can think of is there was a bit of bitterness at the Hall of Fame when he inducted. I want to talk about that.
Oh, good. You always like to touch on these subjects that they really don't want to touch. Well, that's it. That's the key. Controversy creates cash. Follow Eric Bischoff's mantra. Yeah.
You've got to remember that part of my job, or in fact, my job entirely within Monopoly, is to capture moments that will bring people in to watch the shows. So, yeah, I will take any controversy that I can get. And wrestling is full of it. I mean, come on now. Like, apart from the Transformers, the most viewed video on our YouTube channel is the New Age Outlaws. I'm not saying that it was me. It could be them, just being them. But I did upload it, so I'll take the credit for it.
Take that credit, mate. Run with that ball. And again, for those of you that may be attending for the love of wrestling for the very first time, don't just think that it's down to the autographs and the pictures. It is a full immersive experience. Make sure you check out the Q&A panels. Make sure you go and check out all the wonderful traders that are going to be there with us. They're going to be selling their wares. And make sure that you're literally taking every single piece, because that ticket admission doesn't just get you to a table to get an autograph. It gets you so much more. And speaking of so much more, she's given us so much more currently in AEW.
What's up, wrestling fans? It is yours truly, Ruby Soho. Just to let you know, I'm coming back to the UK for the love of wrestling, April 29th. And April 30th. So come hang out and let's party.
Now, Jay, are we going to have to keep Ruby and the Driller and the Pillar completely apart?
I think so. Yeah, there's quite a lot of hostility going on there at the moment. I mean, Ruby looks like she's doing some of the best work she's ever done at the moment. She seems generally happy at the moment. You can say that for a couple of the guys. I mean, going between AEW or Ring of Honor or TNA or WWE, it doesn't always work for everybody. Some of them don't, but Ruby looks like she's happier than she's ever been before, and she seems to be getting put on that top tier. She seems to consistently be in the mix, and to be honest with you, someone of her talent, she completely deserves it. So yeah, I think it's worked out well for her, and I'm really looking forward to meeting her.
Me too. And we spoke on it. We spoke on firsts, and that is another one. The Killer and the Pillar are going to be there, snapping away, getting their pictures in with you guys. They're on the complete other side of the fence when it comes to Ruby Soho. They're playing the heels to her current face with Saraya and Tony Storm, and it's an absolutely epic angle right now. It's something that I've been enjoying watching the product for AEW. So it'd be great to catch up with these guys about how are ticket sales going for this one, because this is again another first.
Oh yeah, it's going very well, as you can imagine. We are wrestling fans. It doesn't hurt that they're both absolute knockouts at the end of the day. But no, two brilliant talents. Obviously, Jamie's got the home turf advantage. Britt's probably alongside MJF the biggest star at AEW's made, which wrestling fans really appreciate as well. And she's brilliant. She's the total package, Britt Baker. So yeah, as you can imagine, this one's going to do very, very well.
I watched that All Access show that you guys were talking about, because you talked about it. I thought I'll watch it, and she talks about the fact that she's a homegrown talent versus the whole Saraya situation. It's actually really worth watching if you've not watched it. It was nice to see a bit of insight into her as a person.
Well, speaking of hitting it hard currently in AEW, check out these two.
What's going on? It's Jungle Boy, Energy, badass, bad attitude. April 29th and April 30th. This is the one. Manchester for the love of wrestling. We'll be there. Come see us.
You have to redo that.
No, this is it.
Did I just say fat ass, bad attitude? Is that how he promoted it?
I think he did, yeah.
What a superstar. Yes, Jungle Boy Jack Perry is literally going to be swinging into Manchester. And for those of you that don't know, his main squeeze is from our JAS, our Jericho Appreciation Society. It's Anna J. So come and say hello to these guys. For those of you that are literally holding back and thinking, I'm going to go for the legends, go and see your legends, definitely, but make sure you go and check out the talent that we've brought in from AEW that are literally on the cusp of greatness. And I can see Jungle Boy being part of an epic main event. Is it Double or Nothing, where it's going to be the 4-way with MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So come and talk to him. Come and talk to him. He's going to be main eventing AEW pay-per-views. And if it's not that one, very near down the line, he is going to be knocking it out of the park, and WWE is going to be knocking on his door.
And I'm hoping that they play that entrance music if he does a Q&A panel.
We're in. He only did that to Bob Aaron.
It's a tune, though, isn't it? I was in a night out, and they played that, obviously because it's a well-known song, and they played it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Jungle Boy's theme, and everyone's looking at me, what the fuck are you talking about?
But that's why, as wrestling fans, we are wired a little bit differently, but for the better, I think. I always do. I always think that. And it's tunes. You get, like, back in the day, we used to get asked to play things like Limp Bizkit, Rolling, and I was just like, oh yeah, it's The Undertaker, and you'd throw your hand up, and you're asked now to play things like Wild Thing by the Trogs, even though that X is the best. And yeah, you get that little feeling inside, and it makes you feel. It's what we were talking about a little bit earlier on. It makes you feel. It's a difference between just hearing it and actually listening to it inside your soul. Well, to close us out, there is no better way than feeling something inside your soul with this epic man.
Hey, wrestling fans, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man here. Guess what? It's coming. For the love of wrestling, Europe's biggest wrestling convention will be at the BEC Arena in Manchester on the 29th and 30th of April. Get your autograph and picture tickets from the official website. And I will be there and looking forward to seeing all of you. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. Hope to see you there.
Well, what a way to close out our panel with an absolute legend, WWE Hall of Famer, and arguably a former WWF champion. Where do you stand on this, Jay? So for about 6 or 7 days, he wore that belt. He took it on tour. He appeared in Philadelphia with it. Should it be fast?
I think we've got to give it him, because at the end of the day, it's Ted. I mean, but to be fair, Ted was, we can't forget how distinguished, the $1 Million title was. I'm very much aware it was similar to what what some other people have done, and maybe what's interesting about the $1 Million title is, if somebody tried to do that today, like when Zack Ryder brought out the Internet Championship, how that went down, but it was almost taken as a bit of a joke. Whereas DiBiase seemed to actually get the $1 Million title over, which was crazy. I don't think the $1 Million Man particularly needs that world title run. Although it would be nice for WWE to recognise it. I think he did enough with it on his own. For me, I mean, you just look at that period of wrestling, and Ted DiBiase just seemed to always be about, whether it was, Hogan, or, the whole thing at the WrestleMania 5 tournament where he was in there. You look at The Undertaker's debut, The Undertaker was on Ted DiBiase's team. I mean, all of those big moments around that sort of 87 to 90 period, Ted DiBiase just always seemed to be on either at the top of the card or the upper level of the card. The stuff
and Steve Austin.
Yeah, don't forget the
Ringmaster's manager, the $1 Million Corporation. Everything he's sort of touched. I mean, the most devastating thing anyway, when Sweet Sapphire turned on Dusty. Oh my God, not a dry eye in the house. I mean, the guy's a menace. He really is. But he's for me, if you just look at consistency, success, and impact, you could quite easily say that Ted DiBiase is the greatest heel to ever step foot in the wrestling ring. He's a phenomenal guy. We had him back in 2019. He wasn't able to make it last year, unfortunately, but yeah, it's bringing Ted over this year. He's always welcome at our shows, and being able to reunite Money Inc. as well. He's great. He's a very, very, very nice, warm man, and he's an absolute pleasure to have back at the show. And
as if by magic, there's your graphic. That is going to be another sensational photo opportunity as we bring together the 3-time WWF Tag Team Champions, Ted DiBiase and Erwin R. Shyster. Mike Rotunda is going to be in the BEC Arena. What a massive lineup we have just been through. And there's a couple of guests that we didn't touch upon that you guys can certainly touch upon. You can go and have a nice little chat with them. I'm talking about people like Pretty Paul Roma. That's another massive name. And for those of you that are sleeping on that name and might not know, Paul Roma is a former Four Horseman. So go and have a little chat with him about his impact in 1993 and find out exactly how Ric Flair does roll. Yes, Paul Roma is going to be in the BEC Arena as well.
Paul Roma, again, we've already got the Powers of Pain. We've got Demolition. We've also got one half of Power and Glory here. Another epic. I mean, Power and Glory is just a really interesting one. I mean, I really want to talk to him about that because, you know, you could put Power and Glory over there today and they'd be absolutely huge. But that's what we're talking about how good Demolition were. I mean, they were about, unfortunately, Powers of Pain were there at the sort of time when, Power and Glory were there at the sort of time when Demolition were just on their way back. Heart Foundation were probably the peak tag team at the time, but they were just about to start being separated. You had Legion of Doom there. You had the Rockers who were just about to sort of split up. It was literally the match was lit in the Rockers versus Power and Glory, wasn't it? When Hercules broke Sean's leg with the chain, and then that set all of the wheels in motion. So there's so much that Paul Roma's been involved in, and he was there at the peak of the golden era, there at the peak of tag team wrestling, and then went on to be part of the Horsemen in WCW. I mean, it's a pretty impressive resume when you start to think about it.
And then he served a couple of years as Ken Shamrock. So when I first saw the picture, I knew who Paul Roma was, and when I first saw the picture, I'm like, holy shit, they used a Ken Shamrock graphic.
We love you, mate. I love you.
Speaking
of Ken Shamrock, let's segue into Ken Shamrock, because just to close it out, we are, for the love of wrestling, we are your podcast. We're made by you, for you. But on the other side of our BEC Arena, we are going to be dominated by the world of MMA. There's a couple of big names there. Anderson Silva, Georges St. Pierre is going to be taking over the stage and hosting all the Q&As. We've got Rampage Jackson. Yes, he played B.A. Baracus in the new A-Team movie. Come and have a chat with him. And the Iceman, Chuck Liddell, as well as Matt Hughes, Kenny Florian, Vito Belfort, Matt Serra, and so many epic, unique
Rampage Jackson of Impact Wrestling as well, don't forget.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So there's loads of different things that you guys can go and talk to him about. And we want to talk to him about. We want to get content for you to distribute onto our YouTube channel. So please head over to YouTube, sign in to your Monopoly Events account and check out all the wonderful past Q&As that we have been a part of. Well, as we throw up the final screen, there is your full-on guest list for the Love of Wrestling. Check us out at fortheloveofwrestling.co.uk. Tickets are available now for your photo opportunities and all your autographs. And those tables are where you're going to hear some fine and dandy stories. But we're going to be on site. Come and say hello to us. And as always, if you're passing Jay Harvey, give him a nice little tickle for putting this all together. He'll appreciate it. Literally a tickle. He'll enjoy that.
Just one cog in the wheel. But yeah, and you know, I thought we've mentioned this in a couple of times throughout the show. Get those tickets, because you know we get so many people asking us, "Oh, can I pay for tickets on the day?" Yes, you can. If they haven't sold out, you might be able to pay for tickets on the day, but don't. But you won't be able to pay for Bryan Danielson on the day. Certainly not. You more than likely won't be able to pay for Bill Goldberg on the day. More than likely won't be able to pay for that WCW Champions photo on the day. FTR's selling well. You know, Kevin Nash is selling really well. DDP's selling very, very well. So if you are looking to purchase tickets before the event itself, make sure you get those big names booked in, because we do not want, I know you mentioned this earlier, we do not want to be sending people away disappointed like we had to last year with Bray Wyatt and Sting. Even though we said for weeks and weeks, buy your tickets, you won't be able to get them on the day. People turned up at the show and then left disappointed because they couldn't get them on the day. That message just didn't get across. So please, we cannot say it enough. Secure your tickets, especially with the big names, before you hit the BEC a week on Saturday.
Yes.
It's also worth noting again that from a wrestling fan who attended For the Love of Wrestling for the first time last year, cost of entry for the Q&As and the traders alone is amazing value for money, because back in the day, I'd have paid double the entry price just for a Q&A with any of these people. So yeah, it's definitely worth getting a ticket. Don't be disappointed. Don't try and wait till the day of. Get your ticket and take the ride.
Take the ride. Love that. Well, to close things out, boys, give me one thing from the For the Love of Wrestling show that you are looking forward to the most. And this is not putting any kind of detriment on anybody else or any other act or any other feature that we're going to have on the day. But what are you, as an individual, looking forward to the most over that weekend?
I think getting, and then again, this because it's not about stroking my ego. It's just being a wrestling fan for over 30 years. Getting that WCW champions photo over the line is something I'm really looking forward to, because it is a world first. And I mean, we are now in 2023. Everything happens via the internet. Everything's me generation. So to be able to put something on as a convention that is a world first is phenomenal, and it sort of summarizes what For Love of Wrestling is about. It is trying to do things a little bit differently than your normal chicken coop convention. So getting that over the line is going to be amazing. Everybody who I speak to about it is hugely excited. And I've also today, I've had a notification that it's been dispatched. We are going to have an official big gold belt for those pictures as well. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be something like a real bucket list moment for any wrestling fan. So yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to.
I as always look forward to just seeing the team, and this is obviously the one for us, as in us as we do all of these conventions, but for us as fans, this is the one for us. I just like being surrounded by like-minded people. Yeah. I'm buzzing for it. I like being in that atmosphere, and literally we're all there for the love of wrestling, and I genuinely love that about this thing.
I love it. Honestly, it makes my heart warm, mate, to hear that, and I can't wait to see you in Manchester on the 29th and 30th of April at the BEC Arena. Again, if you've not got your tickets yet, head on over to fortheloveofwrestling.co.uk and check us out. Gain all your tickets as quick as you possibly can. So on behalf of us, to you, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. Again, if you see us wandering around at the convention, come and say hello. Let us know what you think of the podcast. We are here as the fans for the fans. So we want to know exactly how we can enhance your listening, and indeed on this instance, viewing aspect. Let us know how we can enhance that. We'd love to hear your feedback. So on behalf of me, my name's Tom Finkill, from Aaron Robertson and the legendary James Harvey. We will see you all on the flip side, and get ready. Throw your hands up. Feel the bang.